In this example, we talk about how do you use pivot table to analyze a reservation data set. Now the original data is here, and it contains the following variables. For each online reservation, there's a book date, there's a pickup date, a return date. If this reservation belongs to a member of this club or loyalty club, what product type, which channel this reservation comes in, the length of the rental, and the total sales amount, and this is unit price. Now, in particular, the company has interests in analyzing its reservation to find out, for example, on which weekday do people make reservations the most, how long is typically the reservation period, and how advanced in time do people book a reservation. Those questions are all relevant in business operations. So let's find out. First of all, to find out the weekdays, we actually calculate a few additional variables. As you can see, I added days of pickup, and the formula would just be weekday of C2. C2 is pickup date. And this would just be from Monday to Sunday, so indicated by 1 to 7. And similarly, days of reservation, this would be B2. So when do they actually made the reservation, on which weekday? And the difference between the reservation date, i.e. book date, and the pickup date is how advanced they book. So this just be the difference of the two. Okay, so with those three variables, we could use pivot table. So I'm gonna say go to data and pivot table, create manual pivot table. Now it would ask, do you want to analyze this whole data, and do you want to put in a new worksheet? Yes. Now this is a blank canvas, so let's go to our first variable of interest. It will be weekday of reservation here, and I would drag it to row label. Now you can see that there are only 7 values, of course, from Monday to Sunday, and I just want to have a count, so I drag to the value here. Notice the default is the sum of those days, which is not what I want. So I click on this little icon here, and those are the available functions, and the second one is the one I want. So click count and say OK. So this is how you get the count data. Now let's make it a little bit more visual. So I'm going to select this number and do home, conditional formatting. Let's say use a data bar. So this become immediately visual, and you can see that indeed there are some differences in terms on which days people make reservations. According to this data, people actually make more reservations on weekdays, on Tuesday to Thursday, compared to other days. So that's interesting to know, right? And what the other questions, they are basically about days of pickup and how advanced they are. So let's just make another quick cut at this. So let's say advanced booking. Let's give similarly the distribution. Interestingly, it automatically grouped the days to 0 to 1 and in the interval 2. If you somehow want to ungroup or grouping a bigger bucket, you could change here. So I'm gonna leave it as is, and I'm just gonna do advanced booking and count. So again, the pattern is pretty obvious, and if you want to do conditional formatting, you could, but basically people tend to as you can see here, book pretty close to when they need their equipment. So it's almost like an exponential decrease here. All right, so let's see what other questions here. How long is the reservation period? So let's go back and change that length of, do we have a length of, yep. So let's look at the length of rental. So I'm just gonna move this back so it become a blank canvas again. Length of rental, and values. Okay, now I'm gonna group start from this is, I'm gonna start from 0 and I'm gonna end at 30 in the interval of 1. Okay, and this is sum, which is not what I want. I want to count. Okay, so you can see, again, I like to use conditional formatting. So you can see that this is actually quite interesting. The peak is at 3 to 4 days, and then it kind of tapers off, but it is non-symmetric, as you can see from the bar chart here. Now, another finer cut at this pivot table is to say, well, how long do they need? Does it depend on when do they pick up? Meaning that on Mondays, do people who pick up their bikes on Monday, do they tend to hold on to it a little bit more? So what we will do is to utilize this column area. So what we'll do is we find the days of pickup, and we are going to drag to column labels. Now, first of all, I want to get rid of the conditional formatting. Clear rules. Because what I wanted is actually to just to look at this bunch of data. Let's use data bar, and I'm gonna put it into equal spacing so that we can see. All right, what it means, we can see that for people who pick up their car on Sunday, the length of rentals tend to be a little more spread out, and this is in pretty sharp contrast to people who pick up on Saturday. And on the other hand, the pattern seems to be pretty consistent for people who pick up on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Still have this peak for Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but less so. So this tells us maybe there's something more going on here. In particular, look at people who pick up their product on Sundays. They seem to be systematically different and deserve a close look. So this example illustrates how do you use this both row and column area to investigate if there's an interaction between two variables. And lastly, a quick note on the report filter. For example, if you want to just look at a certain product type, you could just put in here, and you could see this is all the product. And for example, I just want to look at C product, right? Now it will show results on just the C product so that you can take a closer look, or you could say I want 2 products, and it would aggregate this two and report this. So this is how do you use filter. Maybe you want to use other filter, so you can say I don't want return those back to the list. Maybe you just look at whether loyalty members, do they have any difference. So it's either Y or no, so let's say Y. So those are the members behavior, and they might or might not be different. So that's how you use report filter. As you can see, it is very flexible and it's highly interactive. So I recommend you play with pivot table a bit, really, to get familiarized with it.